What's going on, everyone? So, Joel McHale, he is playing Mark Evans in the upcoming Scream 7, who is Sidney's husband. It was originally supposed to be Patrick Dempsey and Mark Kincaid, but he was unfortunately unable to do Scream, and we ended up getting Joel McHale, who is Mark Kincaid, which honestly, with Patrick Dempsey wanting to come back, but then, with all the fires and everything like that, that's why he wasn't able to return. I mean, he literally did interviews saying he was coming back. I would have done it to where, you couldn't have rewritten it to where maybe like her husband was out of town or something with her other kids, because the rumor is that the kids are with the grandmother, hit Joel, Mark Evans' mother, right? Like, my thought process is like, you couldn't have just had it to where maybe they went out of town that weekend or something, whatever. Like, I don't know, just one of those things that's just like, come on, man. But nonetheless, we got Joel McHale as Mark Evans. And look, Joel McHale, it's hard for me personally. We've talked about this on like the Lethal Collective. It's hard for me to personally see him in this type of role. He usually is, he plays a very specific type of character, but I'm willing to give him a chance. I'm willing to give him a shot. However, you see him in the trailer, and a couple things about this, right? One, there have been questions from the moment he was cast of like, is he going to live? Is he going to die? Kevin Williamson recently even spoke about, that he only sees Sidney Prescott ending in a happy ever after, having a happy ending. So it's like, okay, well, maybe Mark won't die, right? Because how does he have a happy ending or how does she have a happy ending if her husband dies and, her child and all this other stuff, right? Well, we got the Scream 7 trailer. And the Scream 7 trailer, like I said, shows us the first looks, which he appears to be a cop. It's what it looks like. He's got like the badge and everything like that. So, Sidney's got a type for sure. It also makes sense that he'd be a cop because it was originally supposed to be Patrick Dempsey, reprising his role of Mark Kincaid. So it does make sense that they would kind of lean into the cop route. But yeah, so Joel McHale is going to play Mark Evans, who is a cop. Small town cop. But there's a couple moments in the trailer that appears to show his death. And yes, it appears based on the trailer that he dies. Now, I do want to say a couple things, right? One, trailers can be misleading, the way that they cut them and things like that. Two, we've actually seen things, right, in the trailer that weren't in the actual movies. So that's something else we got to keep in mind as well. That's very possible. I'm not saying that they did or that they will, but it is very possible that they ended up or that they end up, having a scene or two that we see in the trailer that we don't see in the actual film itself. So just things to keep in mind, because I'm hoping that they didn't actually spoil his death in the trailer. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, but again, I hope that they wouldn't go that route. But getting into it, so see Joel McHale kind of what appears to be either checking on somebody, checking to see if somebody's alive. Maybe it's a Ghostface or, almost like a trap. It seems like Joel McHale, Mark Evans ends up kind of walking into a trap. And he's, he's a cop. So, he gets a call, he goes to investigate it. You see he's a little roughed up. He's got bandages above his eye and all that. He looks like a guy that, has gone through it, going through the arena a little bit. And, and then all of a sudden, you see Joel McHale get snatched up. Ghostface, if you kind of slow it down by frame, Ghostface kind of tackles him, wraps him in plastic, and then it appears that Joel McHale is starting to suffocate, right? And then from the suffocation, he ends up getting poked, to put it nicely, because it is YouTube, and appears to meet his end. A couple things about this, right? One, again, are they really going to kill him, right? Two, I mean, it kind of looks like he's dead to rights. He's wrapped up in plastic, he's suffocating, and then Ghostface, like, that'd be a pretty good opportunity to stab him. Is it one of those things? Do we get a Dewey thing? Does he end up getting, stabbed? Does he end up getting wrapped up, right? Gets captured. gets stabbed. We think he dies and meets his end, but really he survives. Especially at this point, I mean, the way that like Chad is just over here getting butchered and like, dude, the guy's like basically got resurrected on several occasions, right? Like, I mean, to think like Joel McHale gets stabbed a couple times in like the stomach and can't just tank it, walk it off, I think would be a little ridiculous at this point. We've seen how much some of these characters in these new installments have been able to kind of handle and tank. So personally, I think it's interesting. Like I said, I mean, you can clearly see in these images he's wrapped up, right? And like I said, maybe Sidney shows up and ends up saving the day at the last minute, or somebody comes and saves the day at the last minute, or maybe Ghostface doesn't actually kill him. Maybe Ghostface just kind of knocks him out, knocks him unconscious, so that way it appears that Sidney's daughter ends up getting taken. Right? And if that's the case, you would imagine Ghostface would probably not want to kill them yet, or at least put Sidney in a position where it's like, you have to choose. Like like if Ghostface really wanted to try to get to Sid and put Sid in a tough spot, it's like, hey, I want you to decide. I want you to choose. Who do you want? Do you want to save your husband, or you want to save your daughter? Right? Like, which one of these two? You can only pick one, so you better make a good choice, Sidney, type thing. And I think you could do some kind of, interesting scene to where just Sidney gets just put in this compromised position, and it's like, because we know they're not going to kill Sidney. So how do you put Sidney in the worst positions possible? You make her have to choose. Right? You make her have to, like, yeah, you're safe, you're untouchable, but your husband isn't, your daughter isn't. Like, people don't know these characters to the level that they know her. Like, there's a slash film, people die, right? So I just think it's you have the potential to add some interesting dynamic. Like I said, you kind of see the blood splatter and stuff, and you kind of see, what appears to be him dead. Now, again, crafty cutting and editing, or they add a scene just to kind of mislead people. It's also very possible it's exactly what it looks like. Right? Look, as much as I'm trying to jump through hoops and play make-believe here, it's very possible that it is exactly what it looks like, and that we get Ghostface taking out Mark Evans, which again, like, I wouldn't be one, I don't really care if he dies. Not, Mark Kincaid. Two, I wouldn't be surprised or shocked if he died. But three, it's kind of like, like, are you really going to do it in this movie? Like, right out the gate? Like, I imagine a couple characters bleed over into Scream 8, right? And obviously I want some people to die. But, it would make sense to kind of, especially because we have Scream 8, like, he survives this film to die in the next film, maybe saving his daughter or saving Sidney or something like that. I think that would probably be the best approach, personally. But we'll see. Time will tell. Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you think he dies? Do you think he survives? You kind of mix in the middle. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you like this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.